Thank you everybody for joining again, and a very good afternoon to all of you from the InvestorAi Academy team. This is our fifth webinar in a row, and I'm actually recognizing a lot of you, just when I'm looking at the screen. So thank you so much for coming back week after week. Just makes me, and I'm sure the team, extremely happy, just doing this every Saturday. I'm Shruti Bopaya, and I manage client engagement and communications. I also have with me Akshaya Bhargava, our chairman and founder, Bridgeweave. We're also, you know us as InvestorAi, and Akshaya will of course be talking more about that with you. We also have Sarthak Behura, our head of products. He's in here as well, and today's session, there will be a lot of what really goes into some of those algos that you see and you absolutely love in InvestorAi, and both of them will be talking to you about that. Today is also a continuation of a series, actually a two-part series that we're running. We had Beat the Street basic webinar that we ran last week, and today we actually have a continuation of that, where we're going to be talking a little more about some of the advanced sort of algos, features, what you can do with it. Understanding today's obviously means you get to target better and actually use the power of AI, which is InvestorAi, to make the best out of the stock market. So few rules. Please keep the chat buzzing. You are all on mute. However, please do send us your questions. We're going to follow the same drill. We pick up a lot of the questions while we are in the session itself. Actually, we do, we end up answering, and the ones that we think, the entire audience can benefit and we can get into more explanations, we actually pick up those questions. So keep the chat buzzing. We'd love to talk to you more. But let's begin for today, and thank you again everyone for joining, and Akshay, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shruti. I want to welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I know it's Saturday afternoon, pre-lunch for all of you. Very grateful to have you here, and nice to be with you. So as Shruti said, today's webinar is a continuation of our previous one, and the theme here is Beat the Street. Now, Beat the Street is, sounds very nice. It sort of rhymes, and it's a good phrase, but it takes a lot of time and hard work. And last time I showed you some of the basics of how you could use InvestorAi to do that. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about how you should think in terms of creating a portfolio. So I'm going to take I'm going to go into some of the algos we have. I'm not going to tell you how the algo works. I'm assuming that you will see either one of our videos. But for today, I'm just going to focus on how do you pick good stocks from each algo to create a portfolio. So slightly different focus on this thing. Before I start, there are a couple of questions that I want to ask all of you. First of all, I want to know how many of you invest in stock markets? So Prabal is going to send out a question, and just respond online, and we'll be able to see the results in real time. Shruti, you'll have to read them out to me because I can't.
I will. Yes. I'll read it out. It hasn't gone up yet, so we're just getting it up. Yeah, it's just gone up.
Okay. Wow, yeah. That is something. Yeah. I think this is the first time I'm seeing a group that is so informed and so invested. So barring a couple of people, almost everybody is investing. That's great. So the second question is, how many years of investment experience that you have?
Yeah, just getting that up.
Okay.
Wow, we're seeing a good
mix. This is very good. Yeah. There is a very good mix of pretty experienced investors and people who've just been doing it for a year. So thank you. Fine. So we'll just stop this here. There are a couple of other questions I have, which I'll come up later in the thing. Now, for some of you, this is not your first webinar, so please bear with me in case you hear me say something that I have said before. But for some of you, it's the first one, so I will go through some of the basics. Okay, probably you can take off the. So, like I said, today's session is on how do you beat the street with InvestorAi? And I'm just calling it part 2. It's not necessarily advanced or beginner or something. It's just part 2. Before we do that, and I told you, like I said, I want to talk a little bit about the themes around, how do you invest? And one has to start with some quotes that I picked up. And one of my favorite quotes is from Paul Samuelson. All of you who studied economics will know Paul Samuelson, Nobel Prize winner in economics. He wrote the definitive book that I grew up on economics. And he said, investing should be like watching grass grow. If you want excitement, go to Las Vegas. Now, I'm not saying I subscribe to this view, but watching grass grow is not a very interesting activity. Las Vegas, of course, is a little more interesting, but that's his view that investing is a passive activity. You make your decisions and you don't change it every day. A similar kind of thing, sentiment echoed by Warren Buffett, when he says, when we own a piece of outstanding business run by outstanding management, our hold period is forever. Now, that's an interesting statement. And Warren Buffett is known for holding things for a very long time. I can't remember who said that. I think it was his successor, Charlie Munger, or maybe it was somebody else. I recently saw a CNBC video where there was somebody arguing for Tesla. And he said, look, Tesla is a great company, run by a visionary. There is no sell for price for Tesla. You should hold it forever. And now there's JP Morgan who's saying Tesla will go to $3,000. It's currently trading around 600 something. So, so you get these sentiments for a while. But in life, combinations of outstanding business and outstanding management is rare. But the point is, when it does happen, you can hold for a very long time. And the third quote that I want to end with is, sorry, let me go back. Another Warren Buffett quote: "Wide diversification is only required when investors do not understand what they're doing. So they're playing it safe. Thoda ye bhi le lo, thoda wo bhi le lo, and then if something goes up, something else will balance it off, and I'll have a good portfolio." So this is the conventional wisdom that you see in investing. Most people will tell you, make up your mind, decide what you want to buy, find a good time to buy it, buy that. Once you've bought it, then forget about it, because it's basically a good stock. And I think there's a lot of wisdom and truth in that. But at the same time, there is profit in volatility, and you can't ignore that altogether. So that's why we created InvestorAi, so you could find anything you wanted. If you wanted long-term investing stocks, then you can find long-term. If you want short-term ideas, there are short-term ideas. If you want just get the analytics and do everything yourself, that's also fine. So if you think about InvestorAi, it can help you find value stocks, and the algos there are value investing and new age themes. Now, new age themes is an international algo, so it's not really aimed at purely Indian stocks. But I think in time, we will be launching something that is focused purely on Indian stocks. So you will get a version of that very soon. Secondly, you can help it to find short-term opportunities. And short-term opportunities ke liye, there are two algos. One is Alpha 330, and the other is called swing trades. So Alpha 330, for people who are coming here for the first time, is an algo that targets 3% return in 30 days. Okay, so that's quite a stunning return. 3% in 30 days means 36% per annum. You give me 36% per annum, I'm very happy. Okay. And the second one is swing trades, which is a 3-day algo. So this gives you signals that are valid only for 3 days. And the timing of the signal is really important, the day it comes out, and then we track it for 3 days and we close it. Then there are analytical screeners, which are technicals and fundamentals. Now, in some ways, you will see the same charting patterns that you will see on other things like stock edge and so on. Similarly for fundamentals. The big difference between what you see in InvestorAI and what you see anywhere else is that we will only show you stocks which have signals. So unless if there is no signal in a stock, we will not show you the technicals and fundamentals for it. So it is a screener, of course, but it is a very intelligent screener. So if the machine doesn't think there is an opportunity, then it won't show it to you. And lastly, you can monitor what you like. So you can set up active monitoring. You can look at quarterly results. Okay. And so today I want to just talk, like I said, talk about how do you go about creating a portfolio of different kinds of things. So I'll cover each of them in a little bit of detail. Before I do that, I think there is one concept that I want you to understand, and that has to do with accuracy. So one question that people have asked me, now some from the webinar and some outside also, is how can I trust what I see in InvestorAI? How do I know? And there are two elements to that trust. Okay, trust cannot be qualitative. It has to be based on fact. It has to be based on data. So the only way I can ask you to trust me, especially if you're dealing with us for the first time, is to share the data that underlies that trust. So the way I think of trust in this context is, one is your algo accurate? Secondly, if it is accurate, what kind of return has it generated? Has it beaten the market? Because at the end of the day, it can be very accurate, but if it doesn't beat the market, what is the point? Okay. So one element is accuracy. The second element is performance of returns. Now, I will show you accuracy when we go to the app itself. We measure, track, and report accuracy every single day, and you'll see it in the app. And this managing accuracy is not a trivial thing. It's not that the machine is doing everything. Machine does a lot. But we have a small team that is actually watching that accuracy every day. There are many factors behind it. And if we see any of the factors slipping, we tune the algo. Once we tune the algo learns. See, in this kind of thing, circumstance, I should change. And we have been doing this for 2 years, over 2 years. So this is at least a 2-year or more like 2.5-year trained algo. So again, people ask me, somebody asked me in UK, can I not build my own algos? Why can't I build my own? I said, of course you can. You hire, 2 or 3 world-class machine learning people and give them a team, and you build a team the size like Google, and of course you can build it. But you have to then train your algo. And the day you build it, it's like a very intelligent but uneducated child. It has huge capacity to learn, but it doesn't know anything. You have to teach it. And once you teach it, it will learn and get very smart. So that's what has happened to algos. They have become quite accurate, more accurate over time. The second element is performance. And let me just show you performance. So here I've taken each of the algos, the important ones that we are talking about. Look at value investing. It has sorry, apologies, I got muted somehow. Value investing in the last 90 days has generated 105 ideas. If you had bought every single one without questioning and kept it for 90 days and sold after 90 days. So, so just a very dumb sort of activity, you would have made 12.2% in 3 months. So you multiply by 4, so you made nearly 50%. Whereas the market would have gone up in the same period 8.9%, which is about 36%. So you would have happily beaten the market. So this is, performing well. Now let's take Alpha 330, and this is 3% return in 30 days, remember. Now this algo generated 3.2% against the market of 1.8%, but this is 1 month algo. So it generated 3.2% in a month, which is again 38% annualized from 1,547 ideas. And remember, I mean, this is huge because if you're seeing 1,547 ideas, that is a massive universe. Now, this is across all countries. No, this is just India, sorry. This is not all countries. So this algo is generating a lot of really high quality ideas. Now we go to swing trades, and swing trades has a long and it has a short idea. If I take long ideas, there were 448 ideas, which between them generated 1.2%, whereas the market comparable was 0.5%. So again, it definitely beat the market. If I take short ideas, 304 ideas, again, a very good number. And they are 3-day ideas, remember, in the last 30 days. The algo short side generated 0.6%, whereas the market generated minus 0.6%. So again, it beat the market very, very strongly. So you have to keep this in mind. Both the performance figures and the accuracy figures are available to you. All you have to do is click on a button that I will show you in the app, and then you will be able to see it for yourself. So you don't have to take our word for it. Anyway, let me stop sharing this screen, and I'm now going to bring up the app. So bear with me for a second. I'm now going to share my screen. Okay, I'm assuming all of you can see my screen, and I will continue on that. So let's go into InvestorAI. You're all familiar with it. This is my home page. Again, for those of you coming in for the first time, this is wisdom of the crowds that gives you all most viewed, latest insight, best performer, etc., etc. There are a bunch of videos and things that you can see, and these are your active monitoring stocks. Fair warning, this homepage is undergoing a little change. We've had some tremendous feedback from our users, and based on that feedback, we are redesigning this to make it even easier to understand and easier to follow. So in 2 or 3 weeks, you will see a change, which I hope you will like. Before I go in, I say this every time, you have to click on the top right-hand button, which is preferences, and you have to check which markets and sectors you are looking at. In this case, I'm looking only at India, but there are many, many markets that I can switch on. And I have switched on all sectors for today, just for the demo, just so that you understand. And please remember, if you don't switch on a market or a sector, you will never see anything from it. So that's a very, very important, very simple, but very important sort of point. So let's go algo by algo. So let's take value investing. Okay. Now, value investing is a longer term algo. We keep the signal open for 90 days. And for those of you who remember, this is really, it tells you when it's a good time to buy a good stock. So it looks for good stocks that are temporarily undervalued, and then it checks the backtesting score to make sure that it does deliver the kind of return that you want. So if I go there, so now it is showing me a number of companies. You remember, if you're on the free plan, you will only see one sample insight for the day. Of course, if you have subscribed, then you will see everything. You will see 12 by default. If you click on more, then you can see all that are there. So these are the red tiles. The white ones are the ones I have read before. The red ones I have not read before. Before I go into any one of them, this part, the sort and filter, for me is the most important. This is what really helps me find things that I really want to. Now I can sort it. I can look at all. I can look at the ones I'm monitoring. I can look at gainers. I can look at unread. And I can sort by latest or I can sort by returns. So if I sort by returns, then I will see the ones that have made the most money. And let's see who is this materials MEGH. It's Make Money Organics. And this stock has gone up 47.6%. This is an unbelievable sort of growth. It is currently, so this signal was generated, let's understand what's happening here, on the 19th of February. So this is more than 1 month old. So, when it was generated, it was on the 19th percentile. Today, it is trading at 114 rupees, which puts it at the 37th percentile of its last 10 years relative valuation. Okay. The sector rank is 58, which is quite good. And backtesting returns are also pretty stellar at 16.8%. So it's telling you this happened 4 times in the last 2 years. And if you had bought every time, you would have made 16.8% in 3 months. Now, this is a great insight. The problem is it's already gone up 47%. So if I look at it for my portfolio, I'm not sure this is the good time to buy. Okay. Now, I like the company. So I can say monitor. If you see the monitor button at the bottom, if you click on it, it will then track the stock for you. So if ever it falls below 20th percentile, you will get alerted. Okay? But I don't think this is a good time to buy this stock. So I go back. And now I say, don't show, if I sort on returns, I will only see the ones that have already made money, which is, if I am presenting to you, I feel very good about it because I'm showing you good performing algos. But if I'm an investor, I don't want stocks that have already delivered the return. I want the ones that have just come up. So I said, okay, now show me sort by latest. And now if I sort by latest, then I get a different selection. So let me take the first, again, I'll just take the first one. I don't know who this is. This is Care Ratings Limited. Okay. Now, this company is trading at the 5th percentile of its 10-year valuation history. Now, that sounds like a good stock to buy. So there are 3 things you have to ask yourself. Firstly, is it an undervalued company? Secondly, is it a good company? And thirdly, has it happened before and how quickly does the price bounce around? And the top section actually tells you everything. So it is telling me it's on the 5th percentile, which is great. Is it a good company? At 78th percentile is actually a very good company. The capital structure is fantastic at 92. Analyst consensus view is unbelievably good. The valuation is low, and the future outlook is good. So this is really a good stock to buy. You can look at back testing, and this tells me that it has happened 4 times in the last 2 years, and this is the dates when it happened. The thick line is the average, and had you bought every single time in 3 months, you would have made 21%.
Sorry,
So,
sorry, Akshay, there's a question on what is the 5th percentile, if you can explain that.
okay, let me go to this. So what happens is we look at the valuation of this stock relative to the market. So in comparative terms, is it expensive or is it not expensive? We calculate this relative valuation not just for Care Ratings, we calculate it for every single stock in the market. And based on that relative valuation, we give it a ranking. Okay, so the highest valuation relative to the market is at the 99th percentile. The lowest possible valuation relative to the market is at the 1st percentile. So lower the percentile, the lower the relative valuation. And the reason I stress relative valuation, because see, the market is going up, chances are all stocks are going up. So if you just take the valuation for that stock only, it may or may not tell you anything. If the market has gone up 10% and the stock has gone up 5%, if you ignore the market, you're actually picking up an underperforming stock. If you just look at that one stock's price performance. That is why looking at relative performance is so important. And also, it's a very simple representation, fifth percentile. And what it is telling you that today it is fifth percentile. This insight was generated 3 days ago on 24th of March when the price was 432. At that time, it was on the 8th percentile. So it has fallen even further. Okay. So, and we, like I said, we calculate this percentile ranking, not just for this stock, but for every single stock, every single day, because that's the only way we can figure out whether it is undervalued or not undervalued. Anyway, I hope that helps you understand. Let me also spend a little time on sector rank, because that may also be a little unclear. So we do the same thing. We create a multi-factor rank, and there are about 16 factors that go into it. The 16 fall into 4 categories: capital structure, consensus view, valuation, and future outlook. So consensus view, for instance, we take all the analyst ratings that have been published. We then assign a number to them. Then we calculate an average. And again, we do this for every single stock. And then we compare the average for care ratings against the market. And the higher the number, the better it is. By the way, I hope you can see the question mark here. If you ever, wherever you see a question mark, if you click on it, it will actually explain what you are seeing on the page. Okay, so this is a little handy guide. Anytime, wherever you see it, just click on it and you will understand it. So these 4 factors decompose this way. The collective average is at 78th percentile. Again, what we are saying is that the higher the rank, the better the company. And these 2 are very important factors. You want an undervalued stock, but you also want a good company. You don't want to be buying ILFS, at its down, when it's falling down. So, and backtesting, of course, uses something called the mean reversion theory, which is the theory that if a price drifts away from its long-term average, it will bounce back. It will tend to bounce back. Now, the speed of that bounce back is very important, because that is when you make money. And that is why we backtest it this way. Average 1 month return is 1.5, average 3 months return is 21.1. So this is telling me that if you're buying the stock based on historical trends, you should wait more than a month, because it takes 2-3 months to bounce back. Okay, so this actually is calculating the speed of that bounce back. So this is how I would use value investing. And then, of course, look, and then there is a lot more research. So if I go back here, there is a button called Live Info at the bottom. If you click on it, you are now in Google Finance. And now you can go in there and look at all news, money control, any news on care ratings, NSE ratings, the financials of this company. You can do all kinds of research, on this particular company as you want. And of course, the beauty is you're still in the app, so one click and you're back into InvestorAI. So I think this is really, really quite useful. So this is how I would use value investing. I'm not going to talk about new age themes, because I'll just show you the picture, but essentially this is an international algo. We have created baskets for different kinds of baskets. So blockchain, cannabis, clean energy, cloud computing, they're all alphabetical. That's why you see cannabis right at the top. And we will show you wherever there are stocks. To take clean energy, there are 85 stocks in our universe that we have curated. And there are 7 ETFs. So if you don't want to buy a stock, you can just buy an ETF, or you can buy the stocks themselves. Let me go to Alpha 330, which is another very important algo. This is momentum investing. And like I said earlier, this targets 3% return on 30 days, in 30 days. So again, same sort filter logic. If I choose returns, I will see, the good performing ideas. So this is Canfin Homes. It was generated on 26th of February. So 1 month algo. It's got 2 more days to run. We keep it open for 30 days. It's already delivered 20%. So thank you. Great stock, but up to bahut der ho gayi. Pehle kharidna tha. So let me go back and do the same thing that I did in value investing that sort by latest. Okay, so if I sort by latest, and now I'm seeing first one is probably Tata Steel. It is Tata Steel, and now it's telling me that the signal is high, and I will explain in a moment what we mean by signal. But the narrative tells you that this algorithm has identified Tata Steel as a stock that may have a high propensity to deliver threshold returns, which is 3%, within a 30-day period. So it was generated yesterday, and markets are not open today, so no returns. It's got 30 more days to run, and the current signal is active. So what happens is we compute the signal every single day. Okay, and we always show you last 30 days moving, how the signal has moved. Whenever the signal crosses a certain threshold, it becomes a high signal, and we show it to you. Now, there is no guarantee that the next day it is going to remain high. It may remain high, it may not remain high, but it will fluctuate every day, and we'll show you the fluctuations. So if you see something in Alpha 330, the best time to buy is on the day you have seen that insight, because that's when the signal is high. After that, it may or may not remain high, and you will see that in a while. We also show you signal history. So in the last 12 months, Tata Steel has shown up twice in Alpha 330, once on 23rd November and once on 21st September. Both times it has beaten the index. In November, in 30 days, it generated 14%, whereas the index generated 5%. In September, when it became a signal, it generated 8%. The index made 6%. So this kind of gives me a little confidence कि this has done, Tata Steel में शायद potential है. I can again go into live info, look at Tata Steel price. I can say, okay, show me 1 6-month price, how it has moved. So it's actually done quite well. And whether it go here from, how will it go from here? Hard to say, but then you can do, you can read other news, etc., if you want. So this is one part of Alpha 330, and you can look at other stocks as well. The other thing in Alpha 330, which I find very valuable, that if I like materials and I like Tata Steel, then there are 8 similar stocks to Tata Steel that I could be looking at. Okay, so these are all the 8 names, and this right hand side is where the signal is high, left hand side is where the signal is declining. Now, you may not want to buy something where signal is declining. So here it shows you all the names of the companies, the date when the signal was generated, and from that date to today, what are the returns? Okay, and again, you can go directly. So you look at the chart, and if you want to go to Mishra Dhatu Nigam, you just click on it, and it will take you to that particular thing. This was generated on 19th of March. Since the date it was generated, it's now fallen since then, so it may be an even better buying opportunity. I don't know. In the past, Mishra Dhatu Nigam has not done better than the index, done worse than the index. So maybe this is not such a great opportunity. And here is how the signal has moved. So signal was high a few days ago. It's fallen today. But again, we are showing you in a very transparent manner. You will remember that I spoke about accuracy. Can you see this button next to the bell icon on with the target and arrow? If you click on that, it will actually show you that this algo is running at 76% accuracy, 598 total insights in the last 30 days with a 3% return. And in this sector, materials, it's 83% accuracy that this particular insight has generated negative returns. So the right-hand column is for this insight in this sector. The left-hand column is for the algo overall. The point is, the point is not whether it's 76, 78%, but you can check it anytime, and we show it to you every day, and we show it to you for value investing as well. I'm a little conscious of time, so I'm just going to cover one more, which is swing trades. This is a 3-day idea. And it basically we only cover India market in this, so this is only for India. And if you go back, it shows you there are 5 active insights today, and the number of stocks we cover are 102. There are open ideas, so I can say, show me open ideas. And this is telling me that there are, it shows you ideas only in the last 2 or 3 days. So 30th March, 30th March, that can't be right.
That is correct, Akshay. The next trading day is Tuesday, so it's applicable
Yes,
from 30th
okay.
March to
So
1st April.
showing for the next
Tuesday. Monday is holiday in the market. So.
Thank you, Shailesh. So it's showing me ONGC. There's a long signal on it, and it shows you a threshold price of 102.40. Similarly for Power Finance. Now these are again live open signals. This was generated yesterday. Tata Motors, again a long signal. It has already in one day generated 3.8%. DLF came up on 26th. It has already generated 0.8%. It is not always successful. So on 25th of March, REC Limited came up, and again a long idea, and that has returned minus 2.9%, and it's open for one more day. So it shows you the expiry date, shows you the open date, and so on and so forth. So again, if you want to research any company, just click on the tile, so it will become dark. The moment it becomes dark, then some live info becomes available, and then you can do any kind of research you want. If you tap it again, it sort of turns white, and then you don't have live info any longer. So again, I've probably taken a little longer to go through this, but I hope you found it helpful. You can look at quarterly results, technicals, and fundamentals, which will show you specific patterns. And again, so to recap, value investing is really for slightly longer term buy and hold investors. The shorter term ideas, Alpha 330 and swing trades, are for shorter term investors. And some of the signals that in quarterly results, technicals, and fundamentals are also very useful. The point to remember is that the signals are only there for stocks that have insights within our system. So if there is no signal, then it will not show up in technicals, fundamentals, or quarterly results. So let me stop here, and I've just got a couple of things more to say before I stop sharing. Okay.
Quite a few questions as well, Akshay. So
just
you
give me a
go
couple
ahead.
of,
Yeah,
couple
go
of
ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, sure.
So I hope you understand the notion of accuracy and returns. I just want to go into one more thing, that we always ask you to subscribe, and sometimes I know we send you emails that may irritate you and so on, but please bear with us. Your subscription is very important to us, and I'll tell you why. Firstly, with the subscription, you get access to all our signals. There were over 1,000 of them. And then because you have access, you look at all of it, and this helps us understand what you like. And how you use the app actually helps us improve and get better. So, while your subscription is important for obvious reasons, it is actually even more important for us to get better. And if you like InvestorAi and you want to make us better, then please use it and tell us. Thirdly, it helps us build a community of engaged users. And finally, it's a sign of your confidence in us. It boosts our morale, it makes us feel better, it motivates us to do more. And it helps us invest in the product itself and making it more useful for everybody. So let me stop here, and very happy to take questions. Thank you.
Great. On that subscription note, Nitin, I hope he was just talking to us about it on the chat. So I hope the reason to subscribe is clear. First question, Akshay, is from Sudarshan. His question is, I see that for many stocks, the previous performance on when the signal was triggered has underperformed Nifty. So I get a bit confused. So could you just help me understand that? That's Sudarshan's question.
Okay, Sarthak, you want to take that?
Absolutely. Sudarshan, the Alpha 330 algorithm is a momentum algo. So we look at technical features and we also look at some of the changes in the fundamental features. And typically, any idea we generate in Alpha 330 stays open for 30 days. If you have just entered the idea and it has underperformed the benchmark, we advise you to hold on till the period is over, because sometimes market fluctuations can affect signals, but they always tend to come back at the end. So if you have another 10-15 days remaining in the insights, please do hold.
Yeah. And just to add to that, Sudarshan, the signal is simply the signal. Okay. We're actually not telling you either to buy or not buy. Firstly, you've got to like the stock. Okay, that's very important. If you don't like the stock, please don't waste your time. If you don't understand or don't know. So if you like the stock, what we are trying to do is to help you form your own view as to what is a good price to buy. If we can do that, we have succeeded. And then we are telling you that, look, this is looking undervalued and the signal is there. So, frankly, I personally, when I invest, I don't really look at Nifty or anything like that. I just look at whether I've made money or I've not made money. So for me, absolute return is far more important than whether I'm doing better than Nifty. If Nifty is losing money, I don't want to lose money. I'm very happy to stay flat. So think of InvestorAi as just a guide and a very, very smart source of information. Decision is yours.
Great. And there is one similar to that, but a little different around Alpha 330. So Laksh asks, should we book profits when we get 3% in maybe 5 days, or should we wait for the entire 1 month according to Alpha?
Yeah. So, Shruti, I think there's a little bit of disturbance from your side, but Laksh, I've already answered your question, but to others who are listening in, see, we update the signal status every day. But let's say you entered on the first day and you've achieved the 3% already, then it's your call. I mean, the thing is, if you achieve the returns that you want, you can get out. But as long as the signal status remains active in that page, that means in the next 30 days it can still do the 3%. So technically, I'll tell you what I do. I generally stay on and I keep booking profit. I don't book profits till the signal drops to no signal for a couple of days. But that's again not an advice. That's more of,
see, I'm a little different. If I made my 3-4%, I exit. So look, you can take a view whether to exit or not. I think that's a different matter. But please never hold it for 30 days just because the algo is 30 days. That has nothing to do with anything. That's simply a random sort of a number. If you made money, you should consider exiting. If the signal is active, you may want to say, okay, I'll hold on for a little while. But please don't be driven by the 30-day limit, because that is a artificially imposed limit that we decided. We could have decided 5 weeks. We could have decided 31 days or 42 days. We just happened to select 30 days.
yeah. And so just to add to that, the 30 days where most signals kind of peak. So that's why we have put 30 days. It's generally how it is. So let me take the next question.
There's one from Vishal. Just take that one.
No, Shruti, now you can. Now your background noise.
Yeah, so Sebchin told me it was my fan. This fan switched off. So I'm in Bangalore and it's now getting hot. Anyway, I will come to Vishal's question, but I think just in continuation to what you both just spoke, Praveen Goswami has a very direct question on, does it trigger stop loss trigger as well? Like, do we do that in our app?
No, we don't. And it's an excellent question. It has come up a number of times, and not a few times. And this is very much within our product roadmap. We will be adding a stop loss feature in the active monitoring section. So not in the algos, because the algos have the signals themselves. So I don't want to mess with that. But in the active monitoring section, in a few weeks' time, or as soon as we can get it in, we will add a section where at the time you monitor, it will ask you to put a stop loss, either by way of percentage price or an absolute price or whatever. And then it will monitor it for you, and it will give you an alert whenever whenever that happens. And by the way, all these alerts, I don't know if for those of you who are regular users of InvestorAI, you will see that the bell icon and the notification thing went inactive for a few weeks. We were fixing some issues. We've now made it active. You will not only see all your unread ideas, you will see if any of your monitored stocks have alerts. And then there's a cool thing section that we're going to be adding soon, where you will see the next webinar and a few, whatever, anything cool that's coming up that we think you should know.
One
Great.
more.
Yeah.
Sorry, go for it, Shruti.
Yeah, so Sarthak, for you then, this is Vishal Tiwari's question, how to identify the time period for the stock using specific algos? Please let me know.
Okay. So typically, what we say about different algo families, value investing is slightly longer than the other two. It's close to 90 days. Typically, mean reversion peaks around that point in time. 1 quarter, there's results coming in, and that's where things bounce back. For momentum algos, there are two. So there is swing, and then there is your alpha 330. For swing, we generally do not recommend, but that the holding period for swings are around 3 days. So like you can see, most of all the insights close after 3 days, but 80 to 85% of all the insights that we produce in swing generally move on the very first day itself. So, but I don't want to say that the next 2 days would be damp or anything, but generally the swing signals are very, very active, and you need to be very responsive to catch them.
Sarthak, one more question on swing from Jagdish. I'll just read it out. Saying, hi there, I've been monitoring swing trades in InvestorAI for more than a month. I noticed the algo giving more negative returns relatively during bear market. So do you think it's better to skip using the algo during a falling market? Secondly, I also wanted to mention Tata Motors trade, which gave 3.8% in a day. But to be honest, we couldn't enter that trade as it was gap up. So do we counter these? So
Sure.
would you take that?
Yeah, let me actually respond by Tata Motors, etc. So Tata Motors actually did happen to open in a gap up, but if you really look, till 10 o'clock or even till 11, you could have entered, because still the market was down, and the recovery really started after the lunch hour. And again, the thing about swing is it's a 3-day idea. So the thing is, if the trend's positive and there is high volume, look, you can still enter. But again, if it is more than 2% is already achieved, then I would say avoid, because that's where, we say that's the target. That's the kind of target that we look at for swing, right? In terms of insights doing badly during bear markets, Jagdish, I do not know if you're a paid subscriber or you are a trailblazer in terms of what level of access you have. We generally look at all the signals generated, and we have at least a 70 to 75% threshold, and every time that is breached, we go and investigate the algo. And right now we are running at above the average level, so we don't again, we can look
good
at
accuracy, right? Yeah.
Yes. And do look at our subscription and see in terms of what other signals that you could try, because obviously you get restricted if you do not if you use the free
So if you're on the free plan, of course, there's no pressure in anyone to do anything. You will only see a sample. So you will see one algo a day from value investing. I think you'll see two maybe from Alpha 330, one from swing, etc. So you obviously you don't have access to everything. Now, it's not that those algos are wrong or the signals are bad or wrong. They're just samples. There is a lot more in the system, and I would encourage you to try it out, because that's when you'll start understanding. When you see many signals and say, okay, this I like, this I don't like, why do I not like it? And that's the self-learning and knowledge that is important. On this note, I also want to say we are working on a new module. It'll take a few months, so this is not coming soon, but it is coming because it is massively important to me and to all of us. This is what we are going to call a cognitive behavior profile module, where we play back your behavior to you. So it's a bit like, on your Apple, I use Apple, so I don't know Android, but it tells me my screen usage time. I spend so much time on Facebook, so much time on WhatsApp, so much time on email, so much time on this thing. And I look, it's interesting. It doesn't make me change anything, but it is there to tell me. Similarly, we will be able to tell you that this is what your preferences show, this is what you have done, this is why the machine thinks, and you can actually tell the machine, I like this better, no, you're wrong, my preferences haven't changed. It's going to be a really fun little thing. And again, it just makes you more intelligent about your own usage and behavior, and encourages this notion of self-learning and self-knowledge. Shruti, I think we're running quite a lot.
Yeah, actually, we've got quite a few questions to go, but we have to keep the time in mind. So Kunal, Sriram, and I think Shailesh has been trying to answer. Praveen's got answered, but should we just take one more, Akshay? Just because you're
Sure.
talking about the profiling, and I think Kunal's question is pretty interesting. He says, "Does the algo cover stock news and social media sentiments?"
It doesn't cover social media sentiments at the moment. It does cover stock news in the sense you can go to live info anytime and look at news on the stock, because that's really the reason we didn't want to clutter up stock news inside our own thing, because the best thing we can give you the option to go and look at all the news yourself. So if you click on live info anytime, it will look at it'll take you to Google Finance and show you on that stock. It'll show you all the news, and you can look at it yourself. The social media sentiment is a good idea. We are investigating how best to do this. Again, it's not on our immediate priority, but it is very much on our roadmap. So at some point we will include this. The interesting thing is that Sarthak and I and Shailesh and Shruti, and we all keep talking about it. What we would love to do is to pick up some intelligence from Wall Street bets and stuff like that. But I don't know how much interest there is on international social media stocks in India. So it's something we are investigating. If you have any ideas, just please write to us. We would love to hear from you and engage with you and incorporate some of your thinking into our thinking.
That's great, Akshay, because Kunal actually says he would like to, pitch in. So Kunal, we would love to hear from you.
Join
Please
us.
do that. Anyway, so Shailesh, if you could just, take Sriram's question, that will be great. And I think he's also answered Arvind's. I think we've covered everyone now. So can I get the slides up, please, just to, do a close on the session. Just want to, remind all of you, somebody asked us, how do I look for the app on Play Store? We are called InvestorAi. So that's how you look for us on Play Store. Having said that, just to give you some information, here are the 3 plans that we have. We love to say we're at the price of a Swiggy order. So, instead of ordering Swiggy today, you can have a month-long usage of InvestorAi.
We are more useful than Swiggy, for sure.
And then you can have many, many Swiggy orders for the rest of the month. I think that's what we're trying to say. So on the enthusiast plan, Akshay and Sarthak explained, you are seeing sample insights that will give you a sense of what you can do. But the power of really what the app has to offer, especially if you're looking at the Indian market, then try us for a month, try Domestic Pro, you're going to really see a lot of insights, a lot of alerts. Monthly, we're at $799. We have a special discount for all of you who attend the webinar, and that's on our annual plan for both Domestic Pro and the Global Pro. What Global Pro does is also gives you access to 20 plus markets. So if you're somebody who's slowly trying to think about markets outside of India, and that's a great market to start looking at, we actually can handhold you into, what kind of insights to look at and what's really happening there. So, you could also try that one, and there is an offer there too. Could I have the next slide, please? I'm going to very quickly tell you about how we have two types of people on this webinar. We have those of you who are just trying us out, listening to us on the webinar, and looking at whether you should register with us. So for all of you who are not registered on our InvestorAi app already, the way you could use the discount today is you could visit our website. It is investorai.co.uk. You can enter the discount coupon, register on the app, and and then go about actually installing the app, and you can make use of the discount that we're giving you. What we've done, because of feedback that you have given us, from today, all of you who are already registered on our app, you don't have to do that long process of going into our website. What you can actually do is go into your Play Store, look for InvestorAi. It will actually tell you to update the app. So you update the app, and then you go into the subscriptions tab, which is actually in the menu. So you click on menu, you see subscriptions. You click on upgrade subscription plan. You're actually going to see a place in the app itself for you to put in your webinar discount code. And then, of course, it's very intuitive. The app will tell you what to do, and it's literally just 2 steps. So we've made it extremely easy. Do try it out. And, we hope to really see more people today, go ahead and subscribe, because the journey has gotten extremely easy, and thank you for your feedback on that. To see previous webinars and to even understand how to use InvestorAi, we have a lot of exciting videos. All that is up on our YouTube channel. Again, just look for InvestorAi on YouTube. You will hit our page, and you've got a whole lot of information and ways to go about using the app, and also see some of the past webinars. And somebody did ask us whether coming into this webinar, what happens to all the learnings on the previous ones. It's all up there. In fact, this one as well will go up there, and you will also get an email with the link to the webinar. I'm not going to hold you up anymore. Thank you very much, and as always, we're very excited, and I can see my team circling the code over here. You could also just scan the code and get into our app and use all that I've actually just told you on the app. So thank you very much. Please register. You will receive emails from us. They're very exciting. They even tell you, at the end of the week, we have a mail that's called Weekly Watch, which actually tells you which stocks actually did well, which were insights we actually sent out. We see a lot of people like that one. So register, and we hope to hear from all of you. And till then, thank you very much, and see you next week, 12:30 p.m. On Saturday. Bye, everybody. Thank you.